Morning, everyone. Josh here. Just adjusting the mic there. Solopreneur Grind, episode 78 of the SG Daily. Clearly need a shave. Was away for the weekend at a cottage with some good buddies. We usually go every year. And it was a good time. What I wanted to talk about today is the comparison. There's a lot of similarities between sports and business. And the reason I bring that up is because we went to the cottage, a whole, group of guys go to the cottage once a summer. And what we end up doing is having a spike ball tournament. And because I know that some of them are watching and listening right now, I'll have to humble brag and mention that yours truly happened to win the tournament. And on reflecting on the tournament, there's some similarities I can draw, right, between almost any sport and business, but spike ball specifically. If you've never played spike ball, I recommend giving it a try for a few reasons. Number one, it's a great summer sport. Number two, it's pretty simple and straightforward to kind of get started. It's a small net. You don't need a big area. It's a pretty good workout. It's a lot of fun. And what I was thinking about it in hindsight is there's actually not a ton of rules, but there's a fair amount of rules and strategies and things you can do with your team. It's a 2-on-2 sport. But like business, a lot of it is noise, right? So when I think back to how did we win, right? So yes, you can figure out some strategies and basic stuff on how to play good enough. But just like in business, like how do you really do well at anything, right? And what I think it boiled down to in spike ball was really just three things. You can eliminate rules and strategies and da-da-da-da-da. It really just came down to, if you do these three things pretty well, you'll probably have a really good chance of winning. Number one is teamwork. It's a 2-on-2 game, so teamwork is really important. Number two is positioning. It's as you'll see if you look it up or you play it in a circle, right? There's no out of bounds. So being in the right position is really important. And number three is hand-eye coordination. If your two teammates have really good hand-eye coordination, that's probably the most important part. And the rest is all noise, right? Whether you serve well or not really isn't that important, doesn't make that much of a difference. How hard you're hitting the ball doesn't make that much of a difference. That's all noise. And just like in business, especially as a solopreneur when you're starting out, there's a lot of noise, right? There's a ton of things you can do. You could make a website, you can design a logo, you could come up with a slogan, you could advertise here, you could do that there, you could go for coffee with this person. There's a whole whack of things you can do. But if you had to narrow it down to like the 2, 3, 4 most important things that will lead you to the most success, what would those be? And so I started thinking about that. In my case, I started a services business. And what I think like the 3 far and away most important things is number one, you have to pick a product or service that is in demand, right? It has to be something that people want and or are willing to pay for, and something that you can deliver pretty well, right? If they want it a lot, but yours isn't good, then you won't last very long, right? So number one, have a product or service that people are willing to pay for that you can provide them in a good fashion. Number two is you need some efficient way to sell enough of those things, right? So you need a sales process, a sales funnel, marketing strategy, whatever it is, right? That could be content marketing. It could just be doing 100 sales calls a day. It could be cold emailing. It could be LinkedIn content. It could be paid ads, whatever it is. Pick one or two, learn them really well and do them really well. And number three, this might be more for services per se than product-based business, but is customer service, especially in services. If you provide really good customer services, like I said, the customer's already paying you for it. And if you do a heck of a job, they're going to come back to you, or they're going to refer people to you, or, who knows, they're going to keep using you for a long time. So just like in spike ball, just like in a lot of sports, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, a lot of rules, a lot of teams, a lot of strategies. Focus on the 2, 3, 4 things. It may be different based on what business you're working on, what type it is, what industry you're in. But pick like the 2 to 4 things that are going to make or break it. Focus on those. Again, if you're new or just growing your service-based business, I recommend really narrowing down one product or service that people are willing to pay you for that you can provide really well. Number two, have an efficient and effective sales process or funnel. Number 3 is have really good customer service. I don't think that'll ever do you wrong in any type of business anywhere in the world. So that's what I think. Love to hear your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube or subscribed, wherever you're listening this to, make sure to do that. Spikeball lessons are now being provided one-on-one. If you live in Toronto, hit me up at solopreneur grind on Instagram. Otherwise, I will see you Wednesday. Hope you had a good weekend.